Take two. Take two, y'all. But you know, I could just if I'm ever planning on like double record in this game, you know the audio gotta be jetting around the second time I do it. Alright, it's cool. So Steph BG3 here, and I have arrived back in the Ace Attorney trilogy. I'm back on here literally right after the last video, a couple minutes later. Because I don't like ending the videos off like still in the courtroom, bro. And we was an hour in, but still, like, it was weird. So now I'm back on here to, you know, finish that.
Bolif, check the camera photos, hurry. We must examine them at once.
Are you sick? Oh, I thought it was about Heavyweight 2 be continued, bro. I was about to, bro.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court.
Oh, it really is him.
This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you that's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
The photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Edgeworth clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
That is the case, then. The Nickel Samurai is
the defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I will put Mayan's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with the bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at this photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
No, let's hear your objection. What about this photo with
Screen? Bro, this is the second time if you get something wrong, it's over. Like, it gotta be this, bro. It gotta be this man's feet or something. Like, that's the only thing out of the ordinary with this photo. Like, I don't understand. There's nothing else strange but this man's feet. Like, why does it look like that? I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankle?
If you could see this person's ankle, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does that mean?
The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Eckerty.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai poster. See, yeah, I was about to say that's weird. Please pay attention, please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his Akami up just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. We say that, bro, watch Edgeworth to do something weird. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. If he doesn't feel under attack, then I haven't damaged his case at all.
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Edgeworth, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this. What? Right? I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that this person inside the costume is not Matt Edgeworth. In that case, who is this person? Who is this of a photo of? Who is this person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. But you should be focused on this Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is this person in your photograph?
It can't be nobody else but Andrews, bro. Like, I feel like it has to be Andrews. Like, I don't really see who else it could be. She's the closest person to Edgeworth, so it has to be Andrews, right?
Adrian Andrews.
If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Edgeworth's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Edgeworth that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Edgeworth's fingerprints all over it. I ain't gonna lie, when you really break it down, it makes sense. It make a lot of sense. Because her fingerprints wouldn't be on the knife. If Edgeworth ate something, you know, maybe he took a nap. She grabbed the knife, put the costume on, went over to the joint, stabbed him. Why she would stab him? Even though in the last video, well, the video before the last one, she said she would have no reason to murder Joanne. Hey, maybe she was capping. Maybe she really did murder him. Who knows? Why don't you just say what it is Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Joanne Corridor. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order.
It looks like this trial has hit a much unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth?
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then. No, then we shall set Mr. Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. But what am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Bro, we gotta raise an objection, bro. There's no wait and see.
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
We can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if
She is not... What? I heard wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
So what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to supporting Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? I'm gonna be honest. This is probably the longest we've ever been in a courtroom without. Like, and this is our first time in the courtroom. The first video was, the video before this was an hour long. We're already 10 minutes in. I can imagine how long this is going to be. Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. It looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
I better not see it to be continued. Alright. To be continued. What do we do here? We 11 minutes in, y'all. I feel like this is gonna be a long. I don't know, y'all. This is. I don't know how I want. I don't know, bro. I don't know. March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, number 3. Dude, I can't believe that. Adrian? No way. Not cool. And collected Adrian Andrews. She was your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had an easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? Yeah, I knew he had to be asleep. I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her. Yeah, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Joanne Corrigan. But why? I thought she was buds with Joanne. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? Sure, you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Got me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay? Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix? You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide, right? Yo, I ain't gonna lie, have y'all, is it me or do Mia got different poses when she's like, you know, Mia Maya? And when she's like Pearl Mia, like Mia Pearl, like, am I tripping? She got different poses. I feel like she do got different poses. I'm not gonna lie. Miss Andrews depended on her Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it. It's Joanne Corrigan, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think Miss Andrews got close to Miss Corrigan. Mr. Corrigan, all to get back the suicide note. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency on issues with regards to Miss Impact. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Edgeworth is really planning everything, bro. He's planning everything out, bro. March 22nd, 2:25 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Golly, Mia.
We will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edwards, if you please.
Prosecution calls the witness summoned by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Joanne Corrigan's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this court. Mr. Matt Eckerty.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure. What is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. And would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never ever heard of gossiping.
The judge was ever prosecuting was he to do all the work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corridor. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Joanne. This was a private matter between Joanne and myself.
It was a frying bait.
Matter of what? Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Mr. Andrews.
Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. When I found the body, it was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Joanne's room. There was his dead body. I was in shock. That's when she set the wine glass there. I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I thought I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Tomato juice. I said wine, but it's tomato juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. I disturbed the crime scene to move this one thing. That is when the fingerprints on a wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix? She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontation. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things that's inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense in the instant this trial is over, understand? Mia just always has all the answers, bro. Like, how does she always know? It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in our testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. The only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake. And what was Mr. Aggerty doing at the time? He was taking a nap. Yeah, Aggerty just told us that. He was worn out from his many performances at the Nickel Samurai. As a Nickel Samurai during the ceremony, Mr. Aggerty did say he was taking a nap. And I guess you could say it cannot have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? What are you? Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sizable sentence with the subject, then they'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Eggerty's knife from his room? No. Why she smiling? Wow. Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? This witness may continue. Why he always trying to, like, chill, Edward, relax, bro. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Joanne was to make an appearance with the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of a friendship, huh? I don't know, y'all. Should we press this? I'm gonna let her be. I should back off. As long as I don't have any proof, she's not gonna talk. May we continue now, witness? What did you see when you got to the room? There was his dead body. I was in shock. You weren't in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculated person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Corridor. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. Yeah, Edgeworth trying to throw in his little you see Edgeworth?
I see.
This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife long to his chest. And the guitar case was like this too. Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then what did you do next, witness? Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There was no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Joanne Corrido, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Bro, we gotta press, bro. We got to. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. And actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Flower vase?
Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? The mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser. When I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. But why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like you have another fact has come. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over when it fell onto the guitar case. I feel like it gotta be something here, bro. It gotta be something here. Maybe we could just press her. But I don't know. It don't look like it's. She said it fell into the guitar case, but it was nothing in. Like there's literally nothing in the guitar case. They all missed it, so it gotta be the guitar case, right? You testify that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what's so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
What is that?
let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? The guitar case was open when the vase fell. The glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did explicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case.
But the whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be, however, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? I don't know. I mean, it don't seem like it relates to the case at all. Though I don't want to just drop it either. Like, I don't know, bro. I feel like if we let her go, though, I feel like we should just keep pressing her on anything. Like Nia said, so we gotta just keep putting the pressure on her. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. The guitar case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. It is weird though, like that's so weird. You was in that much of a daze, but you drop something and then by default you not only do you look down, you open the guitar case. It don't sound like it. It don't seem like you was in that much of a daze, Andrews. I'm gonna be honest. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why he opened the case, even I don't know. Like, how do you not know?
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This is wasteful and such a familiar feeling by now. It's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Yo, didn't you retire for like a year, bro? I know you're not calling nobody weak. When he come out of retirement after like a year, then he just feel like he him all of his hands. During your testimony just now, did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see, are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like our dependent side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews?
Yes, it was me. So you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Miss Corda's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open the guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was dazed. I feel like we giving her a cop-out though. Like, that's not a good reason. You telling me she is in that much of a daze that she can't call for help, yet she can open the guitar case? What was on the floor? Nah, bro, she lying. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. I'm going. It's something about. I'm gonna test that. It's something about that. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. That's what I'm saying. Like his fingerprints is on it. It says it's right there. It's there. There's no way. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victims. Ah.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the cakes. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Bro, look, she's walking into our trap. There's no way she was wearing gloves. That contradicts this. Because if she was wearing gloves, her fingerprints would be yeah, her fingerprints are on here. She can't.
Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony. So of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. Yeah, that's strange, bro. You tripping. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Bro. Bro, her glasses broke, she just put them right back on. Where'd she get them clear glasses from, bro?
Order.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe the guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. Hey, Maya might be spitting. I said Maya. And Mia might be spitting. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves despite the fact that on the case.
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lure us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the face fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was not closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything to do with this murder.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not only the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar was not being the only thing? You don't mean that a bright black guitar...
So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that it? Right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now, let's have it. Who was inside the case at the time of the murder? It's weird. Like, it's weird. What could be in that case at the time of the murder, though? Oh. What could be it? What could be in there? No. Bro, y'all thinking what I'm thinking? The costume. The costume. Cause like, she said she for some reason checked to make sure the bright red guitar was okay. But when you really sit back and think about it, y'all, let me go to the crime scene. Let me break it down for y'all. Let me break it down. Alright, let me break it down. Right? So since the case already had Joanne's fingerprints on it, he already had opened it, right? Andrews walked in there, no gloves on. She didn't have the nickel samurai gloves on. So when she set that thing down, right? When she set it down, but then again, she said he was already dead, right? But now it had to be her though. I feel like I was on or something, but it's definitely this picture. It definitely has to be this nickel samurai, because it had to have been in that thing. She had to have checked to see. Nah, it don't make sense. It makes sense. Hold on, alright, take two. Alright. So obviously, somebody had already killed Joanne. It couldn't have been Matt Eggerty. It couldn't have been. So she took that knife, went over there and stabbed him with it. So clearly it seemed like it was a struggle. Whoever he was fighting, we don't know who he was fighting. But this is my theory. She went in there, she used Eggerty's knife, stabbed him with it, stabbed his already dead body. But while she was doing that, she accidentally bumped into that wine glass, and it fell on the guitar case, right? She took the gloves off, right? And took everything else off and put it inside. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I feel like I got something, but like I don't know. I feel like I'm not explaining it correctly, but it's definitely that.
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is, inside the guitar case with the nickel samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to be doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? But I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo?
So yeah.
Order. Looks like we're wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside the costume.
But wait 1 second, Your Honor. The nickel samurai costume would have been Mr. Matt Eggerty's. Why would something like this defendant be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. This is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was the nickel samurai's costume doing inside the guitar case?
Now, I don't think she could have stole it. Unless she drugged Eggerty, I'm pretty sure somebody that knew that he got drugged. But I don't think she drugged him to take, because he already had the costume on. It had to be a spare. We gonna go with the spare. It had to be a spare. Gotta be. Mr. Eggerty did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume was we are talking about was a spare one. What?
Are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Necklace Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying. That is what I am saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Corey, was the jamming ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him?
Maybe he was planning on it. I don't know.
What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. Believe in you. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. It gotta be this, right? Because when you really think about it, right, of course he'd have a spare. Because, for one, he went up there, you know, obviously to get his award. Then for the post-ceremony stage show, they would want him to have another costume, just in case maybe he got a little stain on the main one. I don't really see anything else being relevant here. It can't be this. None of this matters right now. It would have to be this. Have to be.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
Press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Eggerty himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
Well, how can that be?
The way I see it, that means only one thing: the conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Joanne Corda himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corda was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. Whoa.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something, and by confess, I'd worried he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Joanne Corda, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Eggerty.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's a public disclosure.
Mr. Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Joanne. Yo!
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation of this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Joanne had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Joanne had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? What secret though? This is getting crazy, y'all.
And do you know what the secret of Mr. Equity is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Joanne knew. I don't know what it is. She stopped, bro. She knows.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect Mr. Equity?
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Joanne, no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. I don't know, that's so weird. I don't know. I just don't believe what she's saying. I don't believe it.
This does take account for everything.
Well, I'm the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you're cross-examining, Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm going to pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Would you say that was your intuition speaking to you? Don't confute my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity, and to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school, at least, not from what I remember. May I continue now? Why she start giving me lessons about to do my job? She needs to worry about not being the murderer. So would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Joanne chose that event at that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Equity.
You knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I'm the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Equity himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony, if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Has Mr. Equity done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Carter with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Equity, yet you still helped out. The reason on trial right now is Mr. Equity, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Equity was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Equity? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. And I want to get him for the show he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I kept trying, but I can find no fault for what Mr. Andrews has said.
I can't say the same for some people in this courtroom, however. The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. Bro, Mia, bro, like, she be reading minds. Mia, because of me, you can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife can very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jam and Ninja's costume.
We're talking about this button, correct?
The button was found in pleats of matte hakama, isn't that correct? You would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me with an icy stare. Yes. Yo.
Miss Andrews from Mr. Wright say, please add this to your information to your testimony. Add this information to your testimony.
And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the buttons and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not. And I thought I had heard this time for sure. If anything on the trip here, if there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be what, but where and what. So this is our clue right here. I honestly say, see now this is where we get into it. Because it wouldn't be these two. Gotta be that. Has to be that. Has to be. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
Strangulation?
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
What does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off of the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was turned off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consistently pulled off of the victim's already dead body.
Order. What is the meaning?
What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button?
What was it? It would have to be dependent. Like, you're not destroying the evidence with this, so, and then you blaming it on Edgar anyway because it's a knife with his fingerprint. So obviously there's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Eggerty. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Eggerty was set up by the real killer, of course.
murderer is?
Well,
Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet, not until the very end.
The real killer? The person who plans to frame Mr. Egerty is...
Gotta be Andrews. Like, obviously. Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You are Mr. Corda's killer. He said I choose you like he was a Pokemon.
Hold on, Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All of evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? And then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Egerty, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what? What about the button? That was found in Matt's Hakama. This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Egerty was the real killer, there is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Ah. You just got an unlimited pair of glasses, huh? The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Egerty's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The real costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been that person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, we breaking her down. We knocking all her walls loose. But Miss Andrews' fingerprints was nowhere to be found in the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Oh. And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this nickel samurai is Mr. Egerty. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? But please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something. If it can incriminate me. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest at this point. If somebody used this, if she using this now, this makes her 100% guilty, bro. It makes her so guilty.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to this in Mr. Egerty's room, Adrian Andrews? Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have already told Miss Andrews not to testify if things look bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there is still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence?
You're so humorous, Mr. Edward.
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to prove us you have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor the wish to murder Mr. Corrigan. We got proof though. We got proof. She told us not to tell anybody, but we got to.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corrigan?
I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed into the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantial with solid definitive proof. But that's not true! In this situation, there is only one thing the court can do, and that is declare recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow? Bro, we can't go to... We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. No, this court is...
It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edward, what are you...
It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination, however. If the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about, Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up. I stared, staring at a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. But whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off on him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request, Miss Andrews, if you please.
Bro, we at an hour again, y'all. Golly, we've been in this courtroom for so long. When I found the body, the glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. Surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in a messy state. in that messy state. Joanne, he was sitting slumped over and tired, looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower face over. That just don't sound like you just poured him some juice. Like he looked like he was knocked out, you just poured him some juice. Like, what?
So you poured the glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I need to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours?
Now and then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
This is what it all comes down to. Huh? This is it. This is the absolute end for both sides. And Adrian is letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is our best chance yet to kill the prosecution's case. Isn't that a bit harsh? Miss Andrews, will you tell us the truth this time? But there wasn't anyone else in the room, right? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there is a rhythm and reason for everything. Can you just wait? Can you wait just a little longer for it to be revealed to you? In other words, Wright, be quiet and listen. Precisely. I couldn't have said it better myself. So it was a mess. It was a mess. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Corridor? I understand your frustrations of not being able to prove your theory, however. Before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. And then, what did you see next, witness? Slumped over. Yes, he was just sitting there, with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Is it just me, or did that right there sound a little odd? Then what did cross? Then what did cross your mind? I thought maybe he had smashed up everything in his anger because he lost the Grand Prix, and then felt tired after the rampage, so he decided to take a nap. Anyways, that's what I thought. I see. So you didn't think he was dead at all? To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. You thought he fainted. I thought he was asleep at first, but then the room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone, and that's when you went to pour the glass of juice. Yes, he always had a hard time waking up, so Joanne always had a glass of tomato juice to drink.
I see. After that, what happened next?
How did you come to realize that that he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. I set the glass down on the dresser and tried to take his pulse. I was shocked, staggered backwards, and knocked the flower vase over, so that's what happened. Yes. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro, it's something real odd. It's definitely something odd about that, bro. You telling me that you didn't just see this whole thing, there's a whole bandana around this man's neck and you didn't see that? You didn't see that? I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that, bro. So you honestly didn't think if he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body.
What is the meaning of this?
Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking out straight out of Mr. Kuroda's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink.
Your point is?
Miss Andrews, your testimony just now was all one giant lie. And your lie has proven one thing very clearly, that you are the real killer. No!
It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Eggerty, is not guilty after all.
But that's impossible. You're wrong.
Mr. Andrews, try to have some composure.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Joanne. But you were the one who refused to testify, and your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because...
Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you?
I refuse to testify.
Then there is no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. McCurdy's innocence has been clearly demonstrated.
Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually a real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't.
No, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Eggerty.
Objection!
Whoa! Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time.
What?
The reason is quite simple. This witness is yet to speak the absolute real truth. Bro, Edgeworth, I don't got time for your nonsense. I need to save Maya, bro. We need that not guilty.
The absolute real truth? What are you?
Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Eggerty will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party.
That's a lie.
I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke then it would be all over and Matt would never be declared guilty. What in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Francisca von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the worlds of another because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then right now, Miss Andrews is. Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Matt Eggerty will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undoubtedly believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across anything like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is to get our not guilty verdict. Our not guilty. That is my only priority. Wasn't me. I'm begging you. Please believe me. I didn't kill Joanne. Help, please. Someone help me.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do.
What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right? I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be except the woman crying over there, right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix, Wright? Like, you gotta force Andrews to testify, bro. That's the only way. Like, the only way, bro. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding.
Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing?
Sure, Mr. Eggerty would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is that how you really want this trial to end?
Be quiet.
How dare you? You're trying to trick me.
That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense theory is the truth.
You're wrong. Look at Edgeworth, bro. Put a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However,
Well, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, he about to talk about the note. This is witness. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop, please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have this evidence right here. That's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of this pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop. I beg you. If people find out, I'll... If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be so cold? However, before you die...
No, Edgeworth out of pocket, bro. Money don't care about nobody's feelings.
I will pour the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please, help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Joanne's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using a nickel samurai costume.
Stab the body with the knife, but why would you do that?
Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man.
What do you mean by all of this?
It might take this court a little while to understand, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man, I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. So Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Joanne Corridan, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. Wait, alright, seriously question though, like, can you get sent to jail for that? You should. You are guilty though. Like, you find a dead body, you stab the dead body, even though the body dead. Like, you didn't kill a person, but you did stab the dead body. So, I mean, I don't know. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Eggerty for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer?
Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and admit to cross-examination.
Wow, bro, this is a record, bro. We really been in this courtroom for 2 hours. Like really sit down and think about it, bro. We up to another hour-long video, y'all. We've been in this courtroom for 2 hours. Let me check. I just want to check where we at in time right now. I know this video is beyond long. Bro, I didn't even know somebody was typing in my chat the whole time. I didn't even know. I hate when I like don't know when people typing in my chat. Buddy talking about you will be cooked, Adrian. I know why. Yes, it's the nickel. Trust yourself. Ask me. Damn, I didn't like he was about to help me. Y'all missed out on my help. I don't think he's here anymore because I wasn't talking. But I think he followed me. Yeah, he did follow me. I don't know if you're still in here, but yeah, my fault, bro. I didn't know. I didn't know, bro. I gotta start looking at my chat, bro. I gotta start having my phone open with the chat on so I can know if somebody's talking or not, because I really don't know. I always miss when somebody's chatting. And he's not. I don't think he's not watching no more because he would have said something. He was over here. He was talking about trusting me. He had all types of faith in me. W him. Clap it up for the what's his name? X Dragon 65X. Shout out him. Mr. Crime. I said Mr. Crime. My crime. When I first saw him. Oh wait. Skipping that. I don't want to concede, but this testimony, the rings of the truth. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, please don't apologize to me. We were both taken by surprise. Still, I'm sorry. Gotta press her, bro. Still. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling me the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is a part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and want to pour the juice. And what is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Joanne, he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the world. Weakest weak point. So Matt did this to stop Joanne and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, did I need to do that? So you were the one who stabbed the victim. With that knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then when I stabbed Joanne's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. You thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Egrity's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? An inconvenience. There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once. So I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Joanne's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. you did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Joanne wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference, and then he was going to disclose Miss Matt's big secret there. And what is this big secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Joanne's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume.
I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Eggledy's room and planted the bomb.
The button. I said the bomb. into Matt's Hakama, yes.
After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into the bag.
And I snuck it out. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it.
My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Eggerty is...
I said Eggerty.
Mr. Edgeworth, is it?
The real criminal is Matt Eggerty. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor set me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should under no circumstance confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words.
What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands,
We can be certain she is not the real killer. But wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything.
Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish that the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright.
But...
Mr. Andrews, please. Mr. Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood.
Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for our detention immediately. Bro, this is not helping my... Bro, I said not... I ain't gonna lie. Why did I completely forget Maya escaped? She's gone. So she's okay.
That is all. Court is adjourned for today.
Oh. Oh! Today's trial, it's over. And I didn't win and acquitted. Witness, would you mind if I ask you something?
Edgeworth,
What is it?
before you leave court today, I wonder if I might look at one thing. The card in your right hand. It had my interest for quite some time now.
What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked me about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Joanne's body. It was lying there, right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card had any relevance to Joanne's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card, if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness, that card! Give it to me, hurry! Edgeworth? Do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? I can't believe you hid this from me all this time! I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. That card, what in the world? What does it mean? They really gonna hit us with a to be continued, bro? Alright, so that's the end of the video. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Turn post notification on. of course, leave it to this game to leave us with a cliffhanger. Um, we really just read for like 2 hours straight when you think about it. It's crazy. Like Phoenix, yeah, bro. I seen that. I never seen Phoenix do that animation before, bro. That man was stressed. I wonder what that card means, though. It was it. We also seen it in the room that Maya was in, and that's how she escaped in that episode. Well, in that part of the video. But what does it mean? I hope we about to find out in the next one. And that's it, y'all. I'm out.